Every conversation tells a story, and the best ones begin with honesty, courage, and a little curiosity. That's where Elsa Kurt comes in. She's an author, podcaster, and independent media personality, and this is where she brings real life to the table. Authors, thinkers, creators, leaders, everyday folks with extraordinary journeys. We sit down, we dig in, and we talk about what matters, what's messy, what's beautiful, and what just might inspire you to look at the world a little differently. So pour a cup of something good, settle back and join me. This is Elsa Kurt Interviews, where truth has a seat and everyone's welcome.
Well, hello, friends. Welcome back for another episode of Elsa Kurt Interviews. I am Elsa Kurt, and I have today the crew of the Taylor Jean. And if you don't know who that is, you are about to find out. So buckle up and stay tuned right after this.
Out on open water, there's nowhere to hide. Every decision matters. Every second counts. For over a decade, the Taylor Jean team has been competing at the highest level of offshore sport fishing, earning respect through skill, strategy, and consistency on the tournament circuit. From record-breaking catches to high-stakes weigh-ins, this crew knows what it takes to perform when the pressure is on and the ocean makes the rules. Today, we go behind the scenes with the people who built one of the most respected vessels in competitive sport fishing. The wins, the losses, and the moments you don't see from shore. This is Taylor Jean, and this is their story.
All right, guys, I'm going to bring them on one at a time here. We have got Jay, we've got Blaine, and we've got Ken. And this is not the whole crew. This is part of the crew. So first and foremost, thank you guys for joining me tonight. How are you?
Doing fabulous. Thank you for having us. Looking forward to having a little fun and getting to share some of our fun stories with you.
Excellent. I love it. So, Ken, I am going to start with you. You guys have built one of the most decorated sport fishing programs on the circuit. So I think I would like to learn a little bit about how the Taylor Jean team first came together. What keeps you guys passionate about competitive fishing? And we're going to start with you, Ken. So give me a little bit of the how and why for you.
So it's funny that you use that word passionate, because that's exactly how I describe it. This is not something I like to do. It's not something I love to do. It's my passion. Absolutely love it. And so it started back in 2005 when I bought a house next door to this guy who had been an avid fisherman. I was an avid fisherman, but I was a freshwater fisherman. He was avid saltwater. And I didn't do that because I got seasick. And, I tried a bunch of times and got drugs and stuff, all the different, the patch and everything else, and it just didn't work for me. So he bought a boat and he said, Ken, I need help. I need to bring the boat back. And I said, if we're close to shore, it shouldn't be too bad. I'll give you a hand. Where is it? I'm thinking maybe Cape May. He goes, down in North Carolina. I go, North Carolina? Are you nuts? So he told me to find something. I did. I found this medicine called Bonon. I keep it on my boat. If you open up any drawer in my boat, there's a blister pack of Bonon everywhere. To this day, I have it there, and I take it as needed. So that's what got me into boating. And he took me out on my first tuna trip. And we were out in the canyons. And for those of your audience that don't know what the canyons are, that's the canyons underwater, about 80 miles offshore. It's the tip of it from where we are in New Jersey. So you're out in the canyons, it's nighttime. You actually see the whole Milky Way, all the stars. There's no noise. It's so calming, so relaxing. I couldn't believe it. I remember as a kid laying on the hill in my backyard and looking up and being able to see stars and stuff, because I'm old, and there wasn't all that light pollution back then.
Oh, yeah.
And so when I saw that, I was like taken aback. And then all of a sudden I heard this noise. I jump up because it's dead quiet out there. I go, what the heck is that? And then he goes, oh, it's a whale. So I started freaking. I go, whale. He goes, Hager, it's not Moby Dick. Sit down, we'll be okay. And so, we caught some tuna, we saw some turtles, we saw a bunch of different, wildlife out there. And it was just so different from, fishing in a lake and fishing in a pond and what have you, that I immediately fell in love. And so Dave and I became fast buddies, and and started fishing together.
Wow. So am I understanding correctly that you still battle the seasickness?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
And it hasn't stopped you. That is a passion right there. That you know, because I mean, if anybody's ever been seasick, who hasn't had that sensation at some point, right? I mean, if you know what that feels like, that it's really unpleasant to say the least. No, it's not fun at all. So that tells you the love and dedication for the ocean and for the sport and being out on the water like that. And that sounded, your description just sounded like a slice of heaven right there. So how amazing to get to experience that on a regular basis. Yeah. Blaine, how about you? Give me a little bit of your backstory there, how this came about for you.
So, I mean, I've been fishing since we were going to the canyon. I was about 3 years old. Been fishing my whole life. Met Ken through a mutual friend back in, I'll say 2000, maybe 12 or 13, somewhere around there. And, we've been fishing together since periodically. And then, a couple of years ago, I want to say it was maybe late teens, Ken asked me to start fishing with him for the tournaments and going back and forth. And then around 2020, we started doing it full time with all of the tournaments like during COVID, and just been, driven ever since. Ken described this as passion. This is my passion as well. And, we share that bond together, and, we've been full steam ever since.
Love it. Jay, how about you?
I started sport fishing in 2012-ish, getting into the tournaments. My ex-wife's family was pretty into it, got me connected. I was hooked the first time. First trip out there, we caught a bunch of tuna, caught a blue marlin, and I said, this is the coolest thing I could ever be doing. I think being out on the water, it's surreal. You're out in the middle, you can't see anything for miles, and you're trolling around, and then all of a sudden you pull some sea monster out, and it's you're like, I can't believe this is real life. And it's a good release for me. All of us work full time, and this is our hobby and our passion. And, this keeps my mind going. You're washing the water, you're prepping, you're working together as a team. All the things that, make you successful in life will make you successful in fishing too.
Yeah, I would think that, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you either love it or you hate it. Like, I don't feel like there can be an in-between for sport fishing.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
The time and money and the commitment.
Yeah.
It's really
and the
difficult.
work. There's a lot. People don't understand the amount of work. You think you're going out for a tournament, you're out there for 8 hours, but there's 30 hours of preparation ahead of that for that 1 8-hour trip. And that's what takes a lot of time, making sure that you have your baits tied. You want to make sure that they swim right. You want to make sure that your lines have no nicks in them. Whenever we go out tournament fishing, we change the lines on every rod, every single time, right, for every tournament, because when you're fighting big fish and it starts stretching the line, or you can get a nick on it, you don't know it. You don't want to lose a fish because of equipment failure. You want to lose a fish because it pulled the hook, or basically because it pulled the hook. You don't want to lose a fish pretty much any other way.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and you guys have, obviously built a heck of a reputation, a great standing, and I think it's really cool that Ken, you didn't start by pretending that you were like a tournament legend. You tested it with a 28-foot walk around.
That's right.
Then you leveled up, yes.
Yep.
And so, what did that proof of concept season teach you about captaining? Did I even say I said that wrong? And and about yourself too, like you're getting really you're jumping in basically.
Yes. I mean, so most people don't start off with their first boat at 28 feet. Right? Everyone's going, that's a pretty big boat. And I said, yeah, but I'm a pretty big guy, and and I go out with pretty big guys, and so I think I'm comfortable with that. It taught me a lot about what I didn't know, right? And there was a lot, like how to adjust the trim tab. So there's a lot of times I was running like this, at an angle instead of, because I didn't have the trim tabs properly adjusted. So that first year, it taught me how to dock a boat. It taught me that, we went out basically, when we went out on my boat, we went out fluke fishing. We went out for striped bass. We didn't go out to the canyons with that. We would take Dave's boat. Dave's nickname is Cobble 35 because that's what he had. He had a Cobble 35. And after that, I said, okay, let me move up. And so I went to the boat show with my wife, and we looked at a 33 and a 36. And she said, 33 is a lot bigger than the 28. Why don't we just get the 33? Why the 36? I said, honey, I'll get the 33. And it's going to be another proof of concept year. And then the year after, I'm getting the 36. Or we can get the 36 today, and I'll keep that for at least 4 years, 5 years before I even think about getting another boat. And she said, I believe you. Let's get the 36. And so that's a
good woman right there.
Yes. Yes, a very, very good woman. She also knew I was going to get one or the other. So
yes,
why take the depreciation hit twice?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Isn't there a thing where they say like the minute the boat hits the water?
They say the day that you buy your current boat is the day that you start thinking about what's your next boat going to be. and there's a lot of truth to that,
Yeah.
They go, oh, you know what? I thought this could do this, but it can't, or it's not big enough, or it's not. And it was funny. Every time I upsize my boat, I go, to the marina. I say, okay, I got a big boat now. And you pull in, and I had a 45, and I pull in. They put me next to a 70 and a 60, and I'm like, oh, come on, you couldn't put me next to the 30s, that type of thing. There's a lot of big boats out there in the water.
Yeah. And when you made those changes, you saw your success rate change too, right?
Yeah. So here's the interesting thing, right? There's always been a battle out there. Do boats raise fish? And what that means is, does this particular type of boat attract more fish for fishermen to catch than a different model? So when I had the 36, it was the same group of guys. We were going out using the same techniques, the same gear, going to the same fishing spots. And 70% of the time, we were coming home with zero, or one fish, nothing. Once I switched to the Viking, we went to probably 75, 80% of the time coming home with fish and multiple fish. So there's something about the harmonics, the engine noise. All boats make a noise. I remember Blaine used to go nuts when I would put on autopilot. He goes, people don't use autopilot when they're fishing. It scares away the fish. You go, yeah. How come we already have 6 in the boat? But that was the way he was brought up. So it was bad weather, and you have to turn into the sea. The boat pitches, and it's hard when you're trying to, stand there and steer it to maintain control. So sometimes I put it on autopilot and just move it a little bit at a time to make it a little bit gentler of a turn. It makes it easier. But we found once I switched to the 45 Viking, every boat I've had since, it has been a Viking because they raise fish.
It's fascinating to me that there's all this nuance to it all. So it's not like, you just open up a manual or a textbook of, how to sport fish, how to be a champion. There's a lot of intuitiveness that is happening here. That's, it never would have even crossed my mind. I think I would have thought like, yeah, you read about it, you read.
So I did do a lot of reading. I mean, it gives you the basics,
Sure.
And, so, I subscribed to every saltwater fishing magazine when I first got into it. For like 7 years. I read every magazine cover to cover because you would learn new techniques and learn techniques that I should know, but I hadn't known because I wasn't in it. I go to Dave was Hager. That's like 5 years old. What are you talking about? Like, well, it's new to me.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Let's see. So in 2011, you got your first tournament check at the South Jersey Tuna Tournament. Blaine, or whoever wants to answer, really, whoever remembers it best, what did that win do psychologically for the team?
So unfortunately, Blaine wasn't there, right, Blaine?
Oh, I'm sorry, Blaine.
We were. I didn't start. I think I started. It was like
2012,
maybe 2015.
Okay.
2016.
Yeah. So Blaine wasn't there. Dave was there.
Okay.
And it's funny, when I look at that picture, I still fish with all those guys that were in that picture. Brandon is one of our regular crew members. He couldn't be here tonight. He was there. What it did was, we knew that we were pretty good tuna fishermen. And so it cemented the fact that not only were we good tuna fishermen, but we could win money in it, and we could be competitive in it. We're all very, very competitive people. It's not about the money, because in the long run, you're not going to make money. I can't retire off of the money we make, on the boat. But it's the competitiveness, right? You want to finish, my goal was always to finish in the top 10%, then the top 5%, then the top 3%, and then the top 1. It's always what you try to do. So that made a world of difference. So we said, you know what? Let's do more of this. And so the following year is when we entered the big boy tournaments, and that was the Mid-Atlantic and the White Marlin Open. As a matter of fact, here's a funny story. On day 1 of the Mid-Atlantic, we were in the tent. And so Mid-Atlantic has this huge tent down in Cape May, and all the people are in there. They have a dinner, they have a captain's meeting and stuff like that. You have to turn in what they call a lay day form, meaning I'm not fishing them all. So the weather was horrendous, and we were turning in our lay day form. And I'm sitting there, and I'm walking around the tent, and I'm hearing everybody going, yeah, we're not fishing them all. We're not fishing them all. We're not fishing them all. So I go, hey, guys, captain's meeting back at the boat. Let's go. So we go back to the boat. I said, guess what? They said, what? So we're fishing them all. They said, are you nuts? Have you seen the seas out there? I said, I've been following the weather. I'm looking at the apps. When we leave, it's going to be nasty. But every hour, it's getting better and better and better. And we can leave at 2 o'clock in the morning, and fishing doesn't start to 8. So it gives us 6 hours. We could go 3 hours out and come back if it's really bad, and still turn it on late for them, because you have to turn it in by 9 o'clock. And there's nothing in the rules that say you can't do that. So we did. We were actually written up in the paper because we're the only boat that went out that day.
Really?
60-foot boats, 75-foot boat, 80-foot boats. So everybody is sitting back at the dock and laughing and saying, can you believe that small boat went out? I can't believe those idiots. And then suddenly they realized that if we caught a fish that we could weigh in, it was a $50,000 payday, because we'd win first, second, and third for the day.
Right.
There was nobody else out there, And that was my thinking behind it, is, hey, listen, if we can get a good fish, it'll pay for the tournament. We're already ahead of the game. And then we get the rest of the week to make it happen. And so, yeah, it was pretty funny. That again shows the competitiveness of it.
Yeah, absolutely. How many, like for any given tournament, how many competitors are there typically? Is there a wide range?
There's a wide range. So local tournaments, you have 50 boats, you have 60 boats. Sometimes you have 15 or 20 boats, right? But the big tournaments, you're talking about hundreds of boats. What's the big rock Blaine? About 275, 300?
Yeah. I think it was just under 200 this year, or just above 200, somewhere around.
Yeah, that was because of the weather, right? Yeah. Last year, even more than that. Yeah. So also the weather makes a big factor. So if you're in a small boat, you don't sign up into the captain's meeting because you want to see what the weather's like. If you're in a bigger boat, you're going to sign up because you know that you're going to go out because you can handle the seas,
Yeah.
And but like the White Marlin Open, that's 400 boats.
400 plus boats.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
9 million in prize money. It's big time.
Yeah. Crazy.
No kidding. I did not realize. Can I join the crew? you don't want me on this crew. Trust me. We all already know this. I'm stating the obvious.
Listen, we love taking out guest anglers all the time. We do it, and we do it in the tournaments all the time because it's fun. Because to experience that, there's nothing like it.
I'm glad you said that, because I was going to get around to asking you that. Not for myself. I mean, maybe, but yeah. So you do. So you do take out guests out there, complete novices, or do they got to have some skill? So
on a complete novice, if we see a mahi, that we caught, right? That could be worth 20 grand. We'll let them reel that one in. Right. But if it's a white marlin or a blue marlin, that could be worth $3 million or $1 million. we're gonna reel that.
Yeah. That feels pretty fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually just really impressed that you would even be willing to let people come on who don't have the level of experience that you guys do, because it is competitive
Right.
fishing. I mean, it is kind of a big deal that,
Yes.
you really don't want to be the guy or woman to mess that up.
That's true.
That's painful. Does anybody have one of those stories?
Oh,
Probably yes.
Luckily, touch wood.
Mm-hmm.
You try not to. You aim small, you miss small, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You do what the captain tells you. You do what the mate tells you. I'm an angler on the boat, and it's my job is to get that fish in and not disappoint. Blaine, who spent tens of hours researching where we're going, prepping the boat.
Mm-hmm.
Ken, who's spent millions making all this come together.
Mm-hmm.
Blaine's brother and cousin are mates, and always putting us in the right position. And everybody has their role on the boat, and you don't want to disappoint your friend. And there's a lot of money on the line and a lot of pressure, and you don't make big moves so that you don't mess up big.
Yeah. I'm so glad you brought that up too, because I am really curious about what everybody's very specific role is. You mentioned Blaine's role. So Blaine, tell me a little bit about what you do. I didn't realize really how much prep, and I knew there would be prep, of course, but tell me a little bit about the scope of the preparation for any one of these tournaments that you have to do.
So, going in before the season, we kind of have a schedule of what we're going to do, what tournaments we're going to be at, where we're fishing, what kind of fish we're fishing for. So we have to, start prepping the tackle. I think I started back in March, and I just knew it was going to be like a heavy season. Our first tournament was at the end of May, and it's just acquiring all the tackle, rigging all the tackle, making sure everything is ready to go at any given point. Make sure there's, could be 1,000 hooks ready to go for the season. You want to make sure your leaders are ready to go. Baits on the boat, obviously ready to go. All the teasers, you have backups for every single thing that happens. So a lot of preparation goes into it. And, there's days I'll spend 8 to 10 hours on the boat, just Saturday, Sunday, 8 to 10 hours a day, just making sure that thing's ready to go. So when we do start tournament fishing, it's just everything is quick and easy, because time is money in these tournaments.
right.
Yeah.
So, we get everything ready to go before a tournament. We're making sure the lines are ready. The boat's looking good. Everything's firing on all cylinders. Everyone's ready. Boat's prepped. There's enough food on the boat. Everyone's, sleeping arrangements are ready to go. And just every single piece has to be dialed in. Motors, every part of the boat's ready to go. So it takes a long time. Yeah. Everything's, has to be top notch before you fish these tournaments. There's so many things that happen when you're out there, and you got to be able to pivot at any given moment. So, coming down to the tournaments, or say like the White Marlin Open, we'll spend, days looking at the water. We'll spend days prepping the boat, fish that first day and the practice day. And so, there's a lot. And then with my duties is running the boat now, it's, just figuring out where we're going, making, like I said, and, just, there's endless amount of time that goes into these things. Like you can say, oh, there's only a couple hours. No, it's a couple weeks, and if not a couple months.
Yeah, sure. And all the way up until the last minute, because everything is so changeable, right? Weather in particular. You're watching everything at all times. That's a lot.
Yeah. There's times where you have to pivot during the day. Weather's coming, for example, was it the first day of the minute where we knew there was weather coming. So we had to get, and then we knew where the fish were, and they were way up to the northeast. So we had to make like a 120-mile run the first day to get up there where the fish were before the wind came in. Because once that wind coming, we weren't going anywhere. So we had to fish all the way up there, catch the fish, and start making our way home as that wind came throughout the day. So, it changes at any given moment. You got to be ready for everything's at all time. And, something can happen. And like, for example, make sure all the safety gear's there, because if, a big wave comes, rolls the boat over, and everyone's in the water, stuff happens quick, and it gets real bad.
Yes, real quick.
That was
absolutely.
That was definitely the scariest day on the water for me in my fishing career.
Tell me about it.
It was the Mid-Atlantic. We I knew it was going to be rough, and we thought it would get rough around midday. And, Blaine took us out 120-ish miles from Ocean City, Maryland. And I was like, oh, all right. My mom texted me, we have Starlink on there, right? My mom's always concerned if I'm going to be safe. And it was 7 in the morning. I said, Mom, it's flat comm, right? And by 7:50, that wind was blowing 40 miles an hour. And, 1 foot turned to 2 to 4. And then it was a solid 12 foot during the day. And, the Taylor Jean has a Seakeeper, so a gyro stabilizer to keep you there. But it was rocking a lot. And, waves were crashing over the back. And, we
Going
were
up the cockpit.
Yeah, catching a few white marlin, which was fun. And it was getting rougher and rougher. We fish on the Sport Fishing Championship Series. So we have a cameraman. The cameraman was not doing so well that day with the rough seas.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we're sitting in the back watching the rods, and I hear Blaine yelling something, and he turns the boat, and this rogue wave that was over 15 feet broke over the top of the Taylor Jean. And this is a big boat. This boat weighs 125,000 pounds with no fuel in it. And the whole cockpit fills up with water. We lost a rod. The boat has what's the thing? The
sonar.
Yeah, sonar.
Right.
And it's designed so if it's deployed below the boat and the boat starts moving, it goes back in so it doesn't break itself.
Okay.
We were sliding down this massive wave in a 125,000 pound boat so fast that the gyro stabilizer went back in. So we're all a little frazzled, to say the least. We just lost a rod that's cost $3,000.
Yeah, this isn't your Walmart fishing rod that you're taking down on the fishing hole, guy.
This is big time fishing. And Ken goes, that's it. This is unsafe. We gotta go in.
I don't care, the tournament's not over. We gotta go.
Yeah. That minute, we hook into a blue marlin.
Come on.
And unfortunately, I had to reel it in, and there's video. And the funny thing is it was so rough, and we're trying to back down on this fish because there's a 250, 300 pound blue marlin on the other end of it, and I can barely stand up because it was so rough. So I sat in the chair, the fighting chair, mostly because I couldn't stand because it was rough. And then we got the release. Blaine's brother Jared is hands down the best mate I've ever fished with in my life. And we released that fish, and then we had the long journey in, and it was rough. But catching that fish in those conditions, I see the video because we had a videographer, and I couldn't believe it was seeing it on video, replaying it again. I was like, oh boy.
Oh my God. Yeah. I know. I was sitting inside, with my back to like this when the wave hit us, and all of a sudden I started going back and back and back, and I was like, oh my God, we're going over. And Blaine, he handled the boat perfect. I got us, back on pitch, and that's why I said, that's it. We're out of here. So if we catch a fish, we can't back down on it anyhow. And bang, we did. And bang, we were able to back down on it. And there was another boat out there that said that they were watching us. They saw us get hit by the wave, and they said, they figured, all right, we're out of here. And so next thing we know, we were backing down on the fish. We said, I can't believe it. And they ended up staying to watch the whole fight, which took about 45 minutes, an hour, right? Because it was after lines out. So, you have lines in going at a certain time. A lot of times it's 8 to 3 or 8:30 to 3. But if you have something on, you just got to notify the other boats that you have something on, and you can fight it till you get it. So we had to fight it till about 4 o'clock, I think about an hour after lines out. And it was something.
And I can tell by all of your smiles that you're just living the dream.
Absolutely.
I'm sure in the moment you did not feel like you were living the dream, but like what stories that you guys have to tell. It's just incredible. And I'm sure those kind of moments are like the ones that solidify that this is truly such a passion for you guys, because you know there's certainly people that would happen to, and they'd be like, and I'm done. That's it. I am over it. The bug is gone. Never again. And you guys are like, when are we going out again? All right, wait, let me ask that. After an incident like that, after an experience like that, did anybody have that feeling of like, I think I want to be done for a little while? Or is it like, nope?
No, that was Monday of the tournament. So we had Wednesday and Friday to fish. We had 2 more days. You know, you fish like every other day when you can. And so everybody was there for the next 2 days. Yeah, even the cameraman.
Even the cameraman. All right, good on him. Good on him for toughing that out. That's good on him. And I'm so glad he got video of that for you.
Yeah,
that's incredible. Oh my goodness. Tell me a little bit. You said like 2-3 days there. How long is? And I'm sorry, I don't know these things. How long is the actual tournament duration?
So typically, the major ones are 5, and you fish 3 out of 5 days. You know,
and how far out do you guys go from home base, so to speak?
So each tournament has its own limit. Most of them are 100 miles. I think the Mid-Atlantic's 125. The Marlins 100. Some of the more local tournaments are like 70 miles. You know, so it depends on the tournament. Anywhere from 50 on the shallow side to 125 on the outside. Yeah.
And so for each tournament, each day of the tournament, like there's a specific start time and a specific end time, and then everybody has to come in and like weigh in whatever they caught, essentially. Okay.
Or there's release fishing, which you know, Taylor Jean is one of the top release boats, you know, on that circuit for sure.
That. Yeah. I really love that, because those are like one of you, I think it was you, Jay, that said, you know, like these prehistoric monsters coming out of the ocean, and they you know, there's something so enthralling and at the same time terrifying about the ocean and what's in it. And when you see, you know, I was looking over your pictures and videos and everything, and just, you know, kind of like zooming in on these prehistoric insane looking creatures, and it's like these things exist and you guys get to like hold them and see them up close, and that to me is so incredible. I have always been so fascinated by what lives in the ocean, so I think it's so cool that you guys just to get up close with them like that is incredible. And
most of your viewers might not like that, you know. They might not have thought about everything that's in the ocean.
I think, like I said, it's like fascinating and absolutely terrifying at the same time. Like, I don't think I'd want to jump in there and be in the water with them.
Here's the funny thing: if you came out fishing with us and you caught your first billfish, there's a practice or a rule or a
tradition.
That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. That we have. You must jump in right where you caught that fish.
Oh, okay. So, fair enough.
I have all over my chart plot is Vinny swim, Tom swims, Michael swims, and I marked the spots, you know. And there's a reason for that, because I knew I caught a big fish there, right? And somebody had to go swimming.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh, okay. I don't know. I think I might be chickening out on joining you guys, because I was pretty sure I was going to beg you, like, to let me come out one time with you. Now I'm a little scared.
You got to come to a fun location, like, you know, the Bahamas or one of the other tournament places.
Yeah.
Exactly. Listen, nice. I got nothing against Jersey whatsoever, but I want to be somewhere really.
Walker's Cay, Bahamas is a much better spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Let's see. I wanted to ask you guys about, we mentioned COVID. I want to talk about that time period for you guys. So let's see. So during the 2022, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just was not sounding right to me. But you guys kept fishing through all of that chaos, and you basically adapted with the sport. So what did the ocean give you guys? And I feel like I already know the answer, but what did the ocean give you guys in those years that the rest of the world just wasn't offering?
It was very weird. Like,
Yeah.
so you have a boat in the bay, right?
Mm-hmm.
And with all the boat traffic, you don't realize that it kicks up a lot of sediment. And so the bay isn't as clear as when you're out in the, out in the deep blue.
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning of COVID, I could walk out my backyard. I could actually see the bottom for the first time since I moved here in 2005. I was like, oh my God. And the same thing at the marina, I could see the bottom. I could see all over. It was incredible because nobody was taking the boats out. And, first of all, it was March, April, but
Sure.
but around May, when it first happened, we started taking our boats out. And it was funny because people suddenly realized, hey, listen, I can get them to skirt around these roofs and get out in a boat and have fun and not be contained. And so the prices of boat went like through the roof. All these used boats prices went, way up, and you couldn't even get a boat. And the tournaments adapted. Like a lot of tournaments are talking about, do we have to cancel? And so what some did is a lot of them, it's the hospitality of it that they enjoy and that they're known for. So instead of having a big, dinner in the tent, they delivered the dinner to everybody, to the boats. And you ate
Oh, wow.
the boat. Yeah.
Oh,
and they brought
yeah.
food with it too. So it wasn't just
Sure.
food. Yeah, so there were different things like that I remember. Blaine, you remember anything else different about?
No, it's just it's usually with the tournaments, it's all about the camaraderie with everybody.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It just wasn't the camaraderie, but we still had the thrill going out there. And
Yeah.
I think COVID really kind of kickstarted our successful tournament careers. So I think looking back at that, best thing that's ever happened.
Yeah. Let's see. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys actually just had a recent tournament, yes? Last week?
Yes, he did.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about that.
All-Star Blaine Birch.
All-Star, yes.
Yeah, the All-Star tournament. Where do we
The
begin?
All-Star tournament.
Or how well you did.
Yeah, I guess we started out getting Ramada on Friday, had a great time with everybody, had a blast. We had too much fun. And,
Yes.
Fished Saturday, and I started feeling a little ill about midday, and I knew something was wrong. And at 4:00, I was in bed, and I didn't get up till the next day around 11. And I was thrown up and had a fever, all that mess. So I got to enjoy the fun, but it wasn't very fun for me. So, but
his teammates were very supportive of him.
Yes.
Ken and I were
Where
down
did they
there.
go?
We flew down there, took time away to support All-Star Blaine Birch. He missed day 2, and what do? We start making memes on ChatGPT, save Blaine, pray for Blaine. It got so out of hand that
It was
my
funny.
mom called me, who knows Blaine well,
Right.
Yeah.
said, "Oh my God, is Blaine hurt? What happened?" And I said, no, he's not feeling well. He's not fishing, and we're giving him a hard time. Then Blaine's parents called him.
Right.
And like, oh my God, what's wrong? And it was pretty funny. So it shows the camaraderie that we all have of, we're working hard together. There's a lot of fun, playing around with each other. And Blaine talked about that camaraderie. And, now in the digital age, and, there's a production team as part of the Sport Fishing Championship Series where we're messaging them and sending them these things, and they're doing an injury report on All-Star captain Blaine Birch isn't feeling well. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, it was. I don't think Blaine laughed as much as everybody else did, but but he took the jokes very well.
If I was feeling better, I'd be laughing. But I was just like, I was so just, I hate being sick, and I was in bed until Sunday. It was bad. But
are you? I want to know. I want to know, Blaine. Are you plotting your revenge? Are you just waiting for the next one to get sick so you can? No.
Well,
You better.
That's the fun part. You have a potential comeback for it, right? You don't tell them what it is, but you do have a little video that might be posted.
I Okay, I wouldn't say no to a little advanced copy of that video. I mean, I'm not saying, I might have a few followers that
We'll have to
they
send
might
you
enjoy that.
we'll have to send you the Sport Fishing Championship video that took all the compilations of our posts that we had put up on Facebook and Instagram and stuff, and send it to music, and then have his
Rebuttal.
video, rebuttal back.
Yeah.
Because that would be something.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, what's really clear is that you guys really, truly, and you mentioned this, the camaraderie, that you really, truly, deeply enjoyed not only what you do, but doing these things together. There's
Yes.
a strong level of trust that you have with each
Yes.
other that you've built over the years. I mean, these are now like long established relationships that you guys
Absolutely.
have. And I think that's really special. Is that common or uncommon? in
That's
your world?
uncommon, right? So we're just a bunch of friends, really. And there's 2 insurance guys, 2 financial guys, a cabinet builder, a retired electrician, Blaine, VP at a bank, and just a bunch of people that met, became friends, shared the passion, and just started fishing together. And there's about a dozen of us that fish together, so that I always know that when I want to go fishing, I'm gonna have people to go fishing with, which is key. And we all bust each other's chops, and sometimes people get offended, like if we bring on a guest, we're busting the chops and say, hey, listen, if nobody's busting your chops, we don't like you.
That's right. That's right. And listen,
I'm not getting chops busted.
I tell my husband that all the time. I'm like, honey, if I'm not making fun of you, then we have a problem.
That's
like
right.
if I'm not picking on you.
Exactly it.
I'll
So
tell you
just
how
enjoy it.
welcoming, the industry is, right? Like one, I think, I live a pretty blessed life, right? That I
Yeah,
get to
we all
do
do.
this and have fun friends. And, one of the guys who fishes with us, Steve Melchiori, buddy of mine, he literally, we all got together and, me on this podcast now, he slid into Blaine's DMs to ask him sport fishing questions, right? Blaine calls him, they start talking to each other, right? Shows who Blaine is of like, he's like, hey, I got this boat, I want to do this. Blaine, Steve, and I end up like fishing a tournament in December, sailfish tournament. We caught a fish or 2, hung out, had Blaine's phone number. Fast forward, it's April, and Blaine's like, hey, come meet me at this bar. We're in Key West for the Viking Key West Challenge. And that's where I met Ken. So I meet Ken and his wife, and, we talked for a couple minutes, and Dave McKendrick was right in front of me on the flight. And I saw he was like wearing all this Viking shirts, and I was like, oh, he must be there for that. Don't think anything of it. Then 2 hours later, I'm at a bar, and I get Ken's number, and Ken's like, hey, we should fish together this summer, and you're thinking, I've had a couple drinks, I'm at a bar in Key West, this guy tells me he's going to take me fishing on his 62 Viking. I'll never hear from the guy again. And then a couple months later, I'm on Ken's plane, I'm flying to Martha's Vineyard, and we're fishing this massive tournament that we won. Right?
Wow.
And it just shows you, you got to be out there in life, doing fun things, talking to people, interacting. And that's where I think this younger generation is just too glued to their phone and their iPad. And, that's why I tell my son, like, hey, you can't have a good time sitting at home on the couch, right? You got to be out there. And, I've taken my son, fishing, and, hopefully he likes it as much as I do. And either way, he's coming with me.
Yeah.
So
if he doesn't, he will. He will
Yeah.
learn to love it if he doesn't already. I'm sure as a kid, he's like 10, right? Is that
he's
what
10,
he is?
yeah.
Yeah. Just hanging out with his dad. What's cooler than that as
That's
a
right.
10-year-old? So that's awesome. And boy, oh boy, did you really hit it on the head there, Jay. I agree with you so much that, this, not even just this younger generation, like the adults too. I mean,
Yes.
how often do you walk around and you see people and their faces are in their phone and they're not talking to each other, they're not engaging, they're not out in fresh air, touching grass, or in this case, smelling the salt, right? Yeah, and I was thinking about that as you were talking about it. I'm like, oh, just what we're all missing, by
Yes.
not doing it. And I know not everybody can get out, on these magnificent boats and do what you're doing, but my goodness, if you get a chance to get out there and in the fresh air and just talking
Unplug.
with people.
Unplug.
Yes, just unplug. And
I go to
go ahead.
restaurants and I see everybody sitting at the table and they're
Mhm.
all looking at the phones and they're at a restaurant having dinner together. And I'm like, I don't get it. So I always had a rule that you put your phone in the middle of the table and the first one that reaches for it pays the bill.
I like that. I like that. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I tell you, and to not be a hypocrite, I have to admit, because of what I do is
Yes.
I am forever. This stupid thing is like, I got the death claw, half the time, because it's like, oh wait, your phone's not in your hand. Calm down.
Right.
And, and I feel it too. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, why do I feel like I have monkey brain right now? Well, it's because you've been, just in all of this stuff,
Right.
and you're not just getting out in the world a little bit. So I set it all aside. Now the rule is, Saturday and Sunday is no
You're
social
done.
media.
Good.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Good
And I had
rule.
to
You know what? The
detox.
world won't end because you didn't answer a text within 45 seconds or 45 minutes,
Yeah, absolutely.
You get it within 24 hours, that should be
Right.
respectable,
Yeah. And
Yeah.
people too, they expect it of you. They're like, I tried to get a hold of you. And
Yeah.
it's like been 5 minutes. It's been
Yeah.
5 minutes that I didn't answer.
Then,
Oh.
sport fishing might be for you because you can just tell everybody there's no internet out there. And
That's
until Starlink, there was no internet out
Right.
there, right? And
Mhm.
it's completely changed things. We're all working, and sometimes we'll be on the boat and having to take video calls on Teams and doing things. It's really opened things up materially. But
Right.
I can also say, hey, Starlink's not working. I couldn't reach you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Oh.
nice to have that break.
It's so nice. And it's so just everything about it, I think really just sounds absolutely magnificent. I have some, I'm walking away from this conversation feeling some envy, definitely, because what a life, what a great life to be able to get out and do that on a regular basis and just engage with nature and be with people that you really like being around. And you
Oh,
have
definitely.
that teamwork. Yeah.
Yeah.
What an
And
amazing
you never know,
treasure.
you never know what you're going to see out there.
Yeah.
I mean, we one time caught a 1,000-pound loggerhead turtle off the coast of New Jersey here, which is normally not here. A tropical storm had blown in, and we caught it. I got a picture of it, and the turtle's head is bigger than the angler's head. The only reason that we fought it because we had a big float on it, because we were shark fishing, right?
Okay.
And it went after a shark bait. It had this big float on it, and I was afraid that if we cut it behind the float, that might kill the turtle. It might not be able to, dive and what have you. So we had to get it to cut it in front of the float. Another real quick story is one day we're out there on the boat, and we went out to the inlet, and we're doing a little wine and cheese. We're having some wine and cheese, and there's this dolphin out there that's swimming around by us and stuff, and it was really friendly. And we're on the way back. My son said to me, "Dad, was that somebody's pet?" I said, "No, Ryan, there's a dolphin in the wild. Why would you think it was somebody's pet?" He said, "Because of the number." I said, "What number?" He said, "It had a number on it." I said, "What are you talking about?" So this is back in the day before iPhones and stuff. So I got my digital camera, I plugged it into my computer, I looked at the picture, and sure enough, there was a 56 carved into the dorsal fin. And you can see it was like somebody's handwriting, like,
What?
the way the
Yeah.
So for grins and giggles, I typed into Google, who is Dolphin 56? So I
Yeah.
found out that this dolphin was kind of world famous. It was tagged and it was branded and caught in the Indian River down in Florida.
Oh, wow.
And it had traveled as far north as Georgia, and then they lost sight of it. They said, it's gone, and that was the only dolphin that had gone up that far. So we were out at the Barnegat Inlet, New Jersey, right?
Wow.
And so
Yeah.
my son actually tracked down the research scientist who was in Germany at the time and said, "Hey, we saw Dolphin 56." And he said, "Oh, no way. It's beyond his life expectancy. He'd be like 46 now. They only lived to 30 years, He said, there's no way." So he sent him a picture of it where he could see it. It was him that inscribed the 56. Plus, it had a little broken jaw. And the jaw, and you can see, he goes, "Oh my God, that is Dolphin 56. So it reset the record it was another time we got written up in the paper because
Mm-hmm.
we found dolphin 56. You never ever know what you're gonna see. It is the
That is
wildest.
so cool.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
so incredible. You guys must, I mean, you just must have stories for days
Oh, yeah.
and days and
Oh,
days
yeah.
and days.
Yeah.
Oh,
lots
I
of,
want
lots of near misses like that wave one, I mean, lots of different
Yeah.
things like that. I remember one time we went out and we ran in between two thunderstorms. We were shark fishing. We got out there. It's like 2:00 in the morning. The wind was blowing. And Brandon, my buddy, goes, "Thank God we can't see these seas."
Oh.
Like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my goodness. All right. So for someone watching who has never followed the sport closely, what is the first Taylor Jean video that they should go and find that would capture your vibe, so to speak?
That's a good one. Guys, have any? We posted so many.
I mean, I'm not sure. I don't know if the video is anywhere, but like when we caught that blue marlin in Walker's Cay to win the SFC and win the SFC Open,
Right.
that was a pretty good jumping around. I don't know if that's surfaced anywhere. I got to figure that out. But
If
that
it
was
hasn't, we got to get
vibes
that
video.
out there.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, absolutely.
And the blue marlin that we caught on the Monday of this year's Mid Atlantic with the seas being like what they were. And there are some videos up there. I think I forget what I posted. Oh, sport fishing gets a little sporty, I think was the title of it.
Yeah, that one
Yeah.
close to
Yeah.
it was a couple thousand views, or those
Yeah,
one
yeah.
that was up
One
there.
of my videos
that.
got over 2 million views. And it
Whoa.
was us catching
Went viral.
a big eye tuna. Yeah, we went viral because like 500 people shared it. I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
Yeah, just one, but it was
Yeah.
pretty funny.
Yeah,
And
you
that
gotta
was
be.
us catching a
You
big
need to
eye
be
tuna.
making reels out of all these videos that you
Yes,
guys
so I
do.
just started
You'd be-
really getting into that this year.
Yeah.
I had never done that before. I post up like different videos and photos and stuff like that. But yeah, I just started to. My daughter's been teaching me.
Oh yeah, you'll go viral like so many times because I am that person. Anytime I come across like any kind of ocean videos, I don't
Right.
care what it is, whatever it is, if it's ocean,
Right.
I will just sit and watch all of them. So you can create a whole page. I will be
Right.
your first and most viewer. Don't call me a stalker. I will totally stalk, but that's okay. That's okay.
We love when you talk.
We'll tag you in the videos from
Yeah.
now on.
Yes, please do so I can
Yes.
watch them all. It's like
Yes.
it just
Yeah.
relaxes me.
Yes.
Oh.
Nothing more relaxing.
All right, I want to ask you guys one last question. I want to know what does Taylor Jean stand for?
Oh, it's very simple. Taylor is my daughter. Jean is my wife.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
So that first 28-foot boat that I had, I
Mhm.
wanted to name it Taylor Jean. My wife said, I don't want my name on the boat. So it was the Taylor V. So for the first 4 years of my fishing career, even with the Wellcraft, it was the Taylor V. VEE, because it's a deep V boat. And my daughter's middle name is V also. So it was
Aw.
a play on that,
Yeah.
And then when I got the Viking, my wife's like, oh, how come my name's not on the boat? I said, well, what part of I don't want my name on the boat? She goes, but this is a nice boat. And then I had to create a whole new career from the Taylor V to the Taylor Jean.
Oh, that's funny. Is that some kind of rule that they always have to be named for
A female.
Yeah, they always
Yes.
have to. Like that's the rule. Okay.
It's considered unlucky, just like fishermen believe it's considered unlucky to bring bananas on the boat.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah. Which we're going to have a hard time with, guys, because my banana tree just started producing bananas this week. And they're going to be ripe just as the time we're leaving to go tournament fishing. So
Don't do it. Don't
I
do
know.
it.
Why don't you send those to the lights out, Ken?
There we go.
Yeah.
Some fresh homegrown fruit for you.
Every problem has its own solution.
So Lights Out is one of the competitors in the Sport Fishing Championship with us, and they're a bunch of good guys. They're a bunch of good fishermen, similar to us, but they got more family than we have. We just have Blaine, his brother, and his cousin. They got father, daughter, mother. Who else? There's a whole family.
Cousins,
Wow.
it seems like they're all related.
Those pals.
And they're a bunch of good guys. So we love. So one of the good things about sport fishing, when you get to know boats and you get friendly with them, you start pulling pranks on them. And so they pranked us and we pranked them. Before one of the tournaments, we snuck on the boat at 2:00 in the morning. We had a little face decals of each of us, and we stuck it all over their boat, on their rides and stuff like that. And, little things.
Oh,
then they tied somebody to the top of our boat, and we didn't know it. So there was a blow up down on top of our boat. We're out there fishing, and people were taking pictures of us.
Oh, you guys sound like a lot of fun. I love that it's like a really friendly competition going on out there.
It
is.
That's nice.
It should be. Sometimes people aren't so friendly, but they get cut out pretty quickly.
Yeah, I bet. There's no room for that, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I love that. All right, guys, tell everybody where they can find you, where they can find more information about you guys.
So taylorjeanfishing.com is our website, and there's a link to our social media, which is Taylor Jean Sport Fishing, both on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. It's all Taylor Jean Sport Fishing.
Nice. I love it. Guys, go follow, stalk their videos, make them go viral. Can we do that? I think we can band together and make them go viral a bunch of times. I think that would be really fun and completely worthwhile. So thank you guys for taking time out of your day to spend with me and my audience. We appreciate it very much. And I look forward to seeing all the incredibly cool things you guys are going to keep doing. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next episode. Take care.
From small town love stories to battles of truth and loyalty, Elsa Kurt's books follow the same heartbeat. Ordinary people facing extraordinary moments. You'll find romance, drama, second chances, even a peek behind the microphone in her newest release. Multiple genres, different worlds, same thread. Bold truth,